Shalom. Call halal, Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners. And to the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And the lady that you're looking at on the screen is, her name is Trisha Rojo Bushnell. And I don't know much about her. I've just learned of her this morning. And it's because I saw an Instagram video that the Mighty Saint Benji sent me last night. And I looked at it this morning. And I actually wanted to do a short lesson on TikTok, but I couldn't get it to play the way I wanted it to through the device that I'm actually recording on. And so, because normally I record my videos on the device that I'm holding in my hand, and I use my other, device to read scriptures and, bring out audio and things of that nature. But so this time it's in reverse, so it's going to end up being a YouTube video a little bit longer. But nevertheless, she made a statement about a corrupt police officer, which brought this to mind, who's actually collecting a pension right now after 20 plus years of service of corruption, rape, literally, robbery and murder. He actually did all three, and so did his police officer, his fellow constituents. When we tell you that Esau, Edom is wicked, they truly are the wicked. The earth was given into their hands, and from their leadership down to their law enforcement, down to their city government, they are corrupt, from the White House to the police departments, to the aldermen, to the mayors. It's just full of corruption. All right, because the information she's going to reveal, clearly a lot of people knew about this, but nothing was done about it. All right, so this is Job 18:10, and it says, the snare is laid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. So they just set traps for our people. All right, and I heard stories about this cop before. He would particularly go after the young men of so-called African American women, Israelite women that he thought to be attractive, and he knew that they were single. But sometimes he didn't care that they weren't, if they were single or not. And basically he would put their sons in predicaments, and then he would demand sex from them in order to keep their sons from going to jail and that sort of thing. And then these desperate, afraid moms would give in to him. And this was something that he was doing regularly. All right. And that's extortion and be just beyond wicked. This is Ecclesiastes or the book of Sirach 27:26, and it reads, whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that setteth a trap shall be taken therein. So this piece of shit, this cop, I think he's Polish. He hasn't gotten away with anything. He may think he's gotten away, but he hasn't. All right, even though he's retired and collecting his pension and all that, his day is coming, and it's going to come upon him and his seed and his people after him. And that I can promise you. So without any further ado, let's find it. And I'll play it for you. Let me get some sound. Hold on.
Roger Golubsky, who was on the force for over 30 years, who retired with honors, still draws his pension today, has never had any accountability, raped women, black women, with impunity for those 30 years. And one of the women that he sexually assaulted was Lamont McIntyre's mother. And when that happened, it happened in the police station. Another police officer walked in, saw what was happening, shut the door, and walked out. She reported him, moved, changed her phone number to get away from him. He continued to harass her. And so fast forward in time, when it comes time for him to cover up a murder, because this cartel knows who's committed this murder and they're profiting from it, when it comes time for him to cover up this murder, he makes a photo array of 5 people, 3 of whom are Rosie McIntyre's relatives.
Mm-hmm.
not care who he got, but he got someone that hurt Rosie. So through this investigation, it takes 10 years because the community understandably doesn't want to talk about what's happening because it's dangerous. But now we've talked to over 100 women who have been sexually assaulted by Detective Galewski and others. He's not the only one. His partner at the time of all this happening then became the chief of police.
You hear that?
Right? Tara Moorhead, who was the prosecutor who said, I'm going to take away your children, she's now at the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Yeah.
And no amount of accountability has happened. Lamont was
so that just goes to show you, you know, these people,
Galewski.
matter of fact, that brings to mind another scripture. So when it comes time for the recompense, when it comes time for Ezekiel 25, you know, when it comes time for Revelation 13, Revelation 18, I'm going to read the scriptures that those in the know already know where I'm going. It's going to be completely and totally justified. All right. So let me, and there's nothing you can say or do. And this isn't a message of hate. This is a message of truth. All right. The scriptures clearly say that, you know, whatever you have done shall be done unto you, roughly paraphrased. And Esau, Edom is being revealed. Matter of fact, I'm in 2 Thessalonians, so I might as well read it. And it reads, this is 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8, and it says, and then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. All right? So the spirit of his mouth is the spirit of the prophets, his friends, who actually have the name. All right? You know, they're not calling on the J word. The letter J wasn't, the Lord was never called with the J word. All right? Even when you go to the actual Greek terminology that they were using, the title that they were calling him, or they were referring to him in the Greek, still didn't come out to be the J word. All right? The letter J is newly created. So anyone who's calling on that clearly doesn't have the spirit of the Lord. And they're blaspheming his name. They're taking his name in vain. All right? And one of the definitions for that particular scripture I quoted is falsely. So they're falsely, you know, calling on the Lord's name to deceive people. All right? So let me grab a couple of scriptures that's coming to mind. Let me go to Wisdom of Solomon. All right, because these police are in a position of power and might, so they're not exercising judgment. And this sort of thing, you know, this sort of evil is done to Jacob all the time at the hands of law enforcement here in America. All right, daily. This is Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 10, and it reads, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow. So let's make the widow, you know, give us fellatio. Let's make the widow, let's bend over and sodomize her so that she doesn't get pregnant, so that I can't get caught up with that. All right? These are the sort of things these police officers were doing. All right? Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. So now you got this poor young man jammed up where his life hangs in a balance, where you're going to send him to jail. And then and for sexual favors from his mom, you keep him, you know, you keep his life hanging in a balance. If you think there's not going to be a payback for it, and then you go to church, or go home to your wife and your kids, and they have a good life while you're doing this to someone else. Okay, so and when this day comes, I pray that I'll be a part of it. All right, I pray that that the Lord allows me to be a part of it. But this is Ezekiel 25, and I'm gonna start at verse 12, and it reads, and thus saith the Lord power, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged themselves upon them. Therefore thus saith the Lord power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. And they shall do in Edom according to my anger, and according to my fury, and they shall know the vengeance. They shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord power. So, you don't know what the prophet Samuel did to King Agag, how he hewed him in pieces with the sword. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of that going on. This is, and it's going to be justified. This is not Romans, but Revelation 18:6. And it reads, reward her even as she has rewarded you. So all these simps and all these people who don't have a ruling class mentality, hey, we're going to do unto them as they did unto us. Except the difference is that when we have our way with their women, it's not going to be forced, but it's still going to piss them off. And if you don't think that pisses them off, it does, because that is the most devastating thing that you can do to your enemy, is have your way with their women. You got a lot of simps and wimps who don't have royal rulership mentality among us that can't seem to grasp that. All right. But it says, reward her even as she has rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. And a cup which she hath filled, fill unto her double. They got to get it double, man. I remember watching an episode of, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was a woman who was dressing and putting her sword onto her man as their men were going forth to fight against their enemies. And his wife blessed him to ravage their women and to bring her back servants. Because why? She had a rulership and a royal class mentality. All right? Esau has no problem with that. But you got a lot of jakes out there who are simple and soft and drowned in the stupidity of the false religion that's called Christianity. This is Revelation 9 and 10. All right? And Christianity is a religion. It is not of the Lord, man. All right? This is Revelation 13 and 9. And it reads, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So if you've led our people into captivity, if you led up being in the past or into the prison system, it's the same thing. Because the prison system provides free slave labor, cheap slave labor. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And he that killeth with the sword, did not the detective set the five people to be killed, 3 of them being the woman's family members, the one woman that got away from him, all right, that actually turned him in, but nothing happened to him anyway, except he just had troubles, all right, because he still got to retire and keep his pension. But he made sure when he covered up that murder, he put a collage of images together and used 3 of her family members. So when the cartel came after them, they went after her family members who had nothing to do with it. That's an evil son of a bitch. And that's your average police officer. Your average police officer. All right? There ain't enough good ones, and the good ones look the other way. All right? Which make them an accomplice. All right? He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. All right, I don't know what Christianity is talking about, but this Bible right here, this scripture I just read, said that the patience, meaning suffering, all right, of the saints, the faith of the saints, are patiently waiting to put to the sword and to put in captivity those that did it to them. Call halal, Yahweh by Shem Shai, by Hashem Rakak Wadash, Wa Abba Bal, Kwam Yasharala Shalawam.